With dual 120Hz OLED displays, the Tensor G2, 5 cameras, and a 4800 mAh battery with wireless charging, the Google Pixel Fold is a great addition to the foldable market, and there's only one issue: the price. So normally I don't discuss the price first, but I feel it's probably going to be the main drawback for a lot of you when it's £1,750 in the UK or $1,800 in the USA. And just looking at the specs on paper, that makes it very expensive when you compare it to other flagship foldables, which have got better specs and also cost less. So this is probably the hardest phone review I've done for a while, because the Pixel Fold excels in design and software, and I've been using it every single day for a week now and I love it, but it does still have its downfalls, and of course I didn't actually pay for this. Google sent it free for review. So if we start with the positives, the front display is incredible. It's a 120Hz 5.8-inch OLED, we've got a 17.4:9 aspect ratio, a Full HD Plus resolution of 2092 by 1080, a peak brightness of 1550 nits, and it's protected by Gorilla Glass Victus. It's wider than all of the other foldable phones in this new passport shape, and using it is a pleasure for browsing or apps, and especially when typing, and I don't ever need to open it up. It also looks nice and premium looking on the front and the back, and best of all, the finish on the rear doesn't leave horrible fingerprints on your phone. When you open it up, however, the whole experience gets that little bit less premium. Now before it arrived, I'd seen lots of pictures online, and I was mainly put off by the big bezels, but in actual fact, it hasn't bothered me as much as I thought it was going to. And because I've got the black version, the bezels are also much less obvious than on the white one, but for such an expensive phone, I would have expected thinner bezels. Another issue I've got is with the fold. It folds completely flat together when folded. The hinge is also very strong and stiff, so you can have it at any angle you want, except for completely open. When you open it up fully, it's not a true 180-degree unfold. It's very close, but it's not quite there. Now this didn't really bother me too much in my use, but I can't help but feel it makes that center crease a little bit more noticeable when I'm using it, and I'm sure some of you are also going to find this frustrating. The display also has a ridge around the edge of the display, and it's slightly sunken in about a millimeter below the bezels, so you can feel it when you're swiping past the edge of the screen, but I assume this is to protect the display. The inside screen is, however, another positive of the phone, and it's another 120Hz 7.6-inch OLED. We've got an aspect ratio of 6:5, 2208 by 1840 resolution, and then 1450 nits of peak brightness with the ultra-thin glass protection. Now using the screen is a pleasure. It's smooth, fast and responsive, and everything just looks great, including the color. Now one thing that always gets me with foldable phones though is the aspect ratio. I see them as a good device for watching media on a larger screen on the go. The most popular video format is 16:9, yet we don't have anything close to that, and we still get big black bars when watching content. On the other side of that, however, a lot of the Google applications have been very well optimized for the Fold, and the experience is incredible with the larger inside display. On Gmail, I've got my emails over on the left-hand side so I can scroll through and pick from. Then the email content is displayed on the right-hand side. You can scroll through both independently, and if you want to read an email in full screen, you just flip the fold 90 degrees and continue to read the email. Now Google Photos, we've got the menus down the left-hand side with all of the photos displayed on the rest of the screen. YouTube, we've got all sorts of different layouts available in different orientations, and they all work incredibly well. When watching videos, you can go through the description and comments on the left, or searching for your next video to watch on the right. Now over on Maps, we've got all of the information on the left with the map on the right, and it's pretty much well optimized for all of the Google apps. When opening apps that aren't optimized for the Fold, however, it is a bit hit or miss. Some of them are just going to work well on a larger screen, and others aren't going to work quite as well. If we just take a look at a few, so Facebook, I get just over half a screen, which is annoying, but with any app that doesn't fit the screen, you can move it to your liking by double tapping where you want it to go. And also, if I flip the phone 90 degrees, then I then get full screen. Now Twitter is the same as Facebook, so just over half a screen, then full screen flipped the other way. And then TikTok, we just get the video in the middle, but the app is a full screen experience. So it's luck of the draw at the moment, but this is no doubt going to improve over time as more and more apps are optimized for the different foldables available. It's easy to switch between your previously opened apps with a nice layout that shows plenty of them on the screen at once. Then we've also got the new Google taskbar, which you can swipe up when using an app. And this shows you a list of recent apps, and it's incredibly useful to open them. And it also makes it easy to set up multitasking if you want a split screen experience, You just drag the app from the bottom into the second part of the screen. Now, one thing I'd like to see here in future is running 2 instances of the same app for multitasking. There are workarounds by installing 2 applications of the same, and it does actually work within Chrome at the moment. It just gives you another tab, but overall the multitasking experience is just incredible. Now, another big positive for me is actually the keyboard. The exterior screen is wide enough for me to type quickly without making lots of mistakes. Then the inside screen, we get a keyboard that's split into 2 halves, and it's a little bit weird at first, but after sending a few messages or typing a couple of emails, you get used to it, and it becomes easy to type fast and accurately. Now, a downside to the phone is the lack of customization between folded and unfolded modes. If you make any changes to the home screen, it's going to make those changes on both, so you can't run independent layouts between the two. If you look at it in unfolded mode, everything on the left-hand side is basically what you're going to get in folded mode. And for those of you using your own wallpapers, you also can't set one for folded and one for unfolded. So you just set the wallpaper for your unfolded screen, and then when you look at the folded version, it's the same wallpaper used, but it's centered and the sides are cut off. So a little bit of annoyance for those of you that do like customization, but hopefully we will see some changes in future updates. And when it comes to the cameras, we've got a 48 megapixel primary, a 10.8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10.8 megapixel telephoto on the rear. Then it's a 9.5 megapixel selfie camera on the front, and then an 8 megapixel selfie camera above the inside display. Now, the photos are great and they're pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a Pixel phone. Whatever you're taking from and whatever camera you're using, you're going to get great quality photos with great color, great detail, and good exposure across all of the photos. Unfortunately, it's not as good as the camera system on the Pixel 7 Pro, as we do have smaller sensors, but compared to the other foldables, I'm very happy with the photo performance overall. Of course, a big advantage with foldables is being able to have the phone unfolded, and then we can use the rear camera for selfies and still have the viewfinder, so you'll be able to use that to take better selfies than a normal smartphone. And when it comes to video, we get great video. We can take 4K videos at 60 frames a second on every single camera except the inner display selfie camera, and again, the video quality is great, and the only issue I've had is a little bit of noise when taking videos in darker scenes. Now, this is the video from the ultra-wide camera, so this is electronic stabilization only, no optical, 4K, 60 frames a second. I am walking, so we'll see how the stabilization performs, but if I just stop, pan round, and back again. So this is a video from the telephoto camera on the Pixel Fold. I'm not walking just yet, because obviously we're at 2x zoom. Just do a pan, we'll see how it performs with that. And back, and then if I just walk forward, you'll see how the stabilization performs. But that's the 2x telephoto camera. So this is a video from the front-facing camera on the Pixel Fold. Again, it's 4K, 60 frames a second. Looks pretty good in the viewfinder, so we'll have to see how it comes out on the computer. I'm also walking, so we'll see how the stabilization comes out, but overall it looks pretty good. Now, this is a video from the front-facing camera on the internal display, so not as good as the external display, but it still looks okay in the viewfinder. Again, I'll have to wait till we get on the computer so I can look at it properly, but overall it looks like a good camera, although at the same time, don't really think you're going to be using this one too much. Now, we also get stereo speakers along with a 3 microphone and noise cancellation system. The speakers sound nice and they're great for watching media. They've got a lot of clarity to them, but they are lacking a little bit of bass. They also don't go that loud, which means that they're not going to be great if you like to use your phone to listen to music.
Meet the residents of Element City. Air usually has their head in the clouds. My new jacket!
For those concerned with synthetic benchmarks, over on Geekbench 6 we get a single core score of 1,450, then a multi-core score of 3,283. On Wildlife we get an overall score of 6,367 with an average frame rate of 38.1, so it's good scores for the benchmarks. And the Tensor G2 is a very capable chip with great AI, it's just not got the raw performance power of something like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. For gaming, it performs incredibly well though. I installed Asphalt 9 and Call of Duty Mobile, and as you can see over on Asphalt 9, it looks stunning on this large display. The gameplay is smooth and responsive, and there's no drop frames or stuttering. It's the same story over on Call of Duty Mobile, and with high graphic settings and high frame rates, it's incredible to play. The only thing to note with folds though is that you want to open the game with the screen orientation you want to play in, as if you play it with the inner display and then switch to the external display, you may have some weird aspect ratios depending on the game. For those who enjoy a bit of gaming, it's going to be a great choice, but if gaming is your main focus from a phone, then you'd probably be better off with something powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Now battery life is also okay, but it's not the best. It's lasting me the day with heavy use of all my apps and media, although sometimes I find myself on low percentages in the evening. It's a 4821 mAh battery with 30W fast charge using a wire, then 7.5W wireless charging, so that's better than no fast charge, but it's nothing groundbreaking. Now overall, as I said, I love the Pixel Fold. It just offers a software experience like no other folding phone, on top of all the other goodies from Google like Magic Eraser and Photo and Blur. Its size not only makes it comfortable to hold, but also comfortable in my pocket. Whether or not you should purchase one really comes down to your personal preference. If you're a true Pixel fan and want to fold, then of course it's probably going to be a yes. And if your preference is on usability and optimization, then I'd say it's definitely worth considering. But if you're someone who cares more about the hardware and the performance, then maybe hold off and wait for something like the Z Fold 5, because rumors have said that the Fold 5 could be even cheaper than the previous years, so you'll be getting better specs at a cheaper price. But especially for their first folding phone though, Google have done a great job here. If it was a little bit cheaper, then it would make it a much easier recommendation to buy, and it's only the huge price tag that makes it a much harder decision. But that's pretty much it from me on the Pixel Fold. If there's anything I've missed or you've got any questions, then just ask them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.